With the AirPod Pros, Apple is entering the arena of active noise cancelling, truly wireless earbuds. This is Apple's first foray into active noise cancellation and technically the third generation of AirPods, with two generations of AirPods directly prior to the AirPod Pros that didn't have noise cancellation. There's a few manufacturers that offer products with active noise cancellation, and even fewer still that offer them in earbuds. Sennheiser, Bang & Olufsen, and most importantly, Sony. With the Sony Wf-1000xm3, Sony is placing its active noise cancellation technology into its earbud form factor, a feat that it's never done before. This isn't Sony's first kick at the can, though, in terms of active noise cancellation, as it's enjoyed years of success with several very popular headphones which offer active noise cancellation themselves. In this video, we'll be comparing the two earbuds, their major features, design, and how active noise cancellation and sound quality stack up between the Sony Wf-1000xm3s and the Apple AirPod Pro. So why don't we start out the head-to-head with the most shallow and least significant portion of the comparison, design. You might be asking yourself, these are earbuds. Sound quality is all that matters. What do I care about design? Well, if you're going to be wearing these on your face technically for hours at a time, you might want to know what they look like. On one hand, you have the Apple AirPod Pros, which, for better or for worse, seem to be stuck from the designs from 2007. The upside on a pair of white AirPods or earphones has always been that they're quite easy to find, particularly if they're in the bag or if they're in a dark room. What sets the AirPod Pros apart from the original AirPods is that the stem is much shorter. While you might not think this makes much of a difference, it does reduce the overall profile of the AirPods in your ear, and they tuck away much more neatly in your ear canal and are much less obvious on your face than the original AirPods. Bottom line is that if you're comfortable with the overall look of the AirPods, which don't come in any other colors whatsoever, then you'll probably enjoy the AirPod Pro's design. The glossy white aesthetic carries over to the case, which is pretty standard. It's just a glossy white, rectangular curved cube, and it works well because it comes in and out of your pocket quite easily. The Sonys, on the other hand, have a completely different design. The aesthetics on the Sony Wf-1000xm3 are much more modern and refined compared to Apple's latest offering. They come in two colorways, black and silver, and the branding and inlays and controls on each are very classy and understated. Overall, I would be more comfortable wearing the Sonys in many more different situations, like a professional setting or an office, compared to the AirPods, which are kind of 50-50. The modern stylings extend over to the case, and the rubberized texture and two-tone nature of the Sony's case is quite elegant, and I actually enjoyed having them on my desk or around in general. So overall for design, Sony takes the cake. They have more color selection, they have a little bit more modern styling on their earbuds, and also you can wear them in many more situations. So one of the marquee features on both of these truly wireless earbuds is that they offer in-ear active noise cancellation. This is different than sound isolation, which is simply just blocks out noise from your ear canal. Active noise cancellation will emit frequencies to block out noise coming into your ear. The Sonys have a very different active noise cancellation experience than what you get from the AirPod Pros. And if you look at the design of these two products, this can be expected. In a nutshell, I'd have to say that the Sonys do offer a more superior active noise cancellation package compared to the AirPod Pros. But, end of the day, it's kind of what you're after that counts. If you're looking for raw sound quality and volume reduction while you're playing music, then the Sonys will far and away provide a better active noise cancellation experience than the AirPod Pros. This can be due to several reasons. One is that Sony has just been in the active noise cancellation game much longer than Apple, so they've had a lot more time to improve and refine the technology. The other reason why Sony's has much better active noise cancellation has a lot to do with the physical design of the earphones and what they're intended to do. What it boils down to is the signature vent on the AirPod Pros. Apple places the vent there, and it's advertised to be designed primarily for comfort. Apple didn't want to create a vacuum in your ear, and the vent helps alleviate the air pressure that would be built up on a set of wireless earbuds without a vent. What this vent defeats is any kind of sound isolation that you get on the AirPod Pros. The Sonys, with their more traditional design, do have a lot more sound isolation naturally, just because they physically block out the sound. So, while the upside of the vent on the AirPod Pros is that it creates a much more comfortable wearing experience, it defeats any kind of sound isolation that improves the active noise cancellation qualities of the Sony earbuds. So, with this discussion on active noise cancellation, it would probably be a good place to segue into sound quality. With music listening and sound quality, you also get a very different experience between the two earbuds. AirPod Pros are no slouch. Mids and highs are crisp, and there's a palpable sense of bass, particularly compared to the first two generations of AirPods. It's overall a very clean and polished sound. Sound fidelity and staging are also quite decent, as well as you can pick up different parts of the music quite clearly. All this to say, though, that the Sonys, on the other hand, in terms of sound quality, are in a completely different ballpark. The lows on the Sony Wf-1000xm3s are deep and rich. The increased size of the silicone tips on the Sony and the larger size of the earbuds overall helps transmit the lower frequencies much more effectively than on the AirPod Pros. Instrumentation and sound quality are also much better, and the mids and the highs on the Sonys are much more crisp and well-rounded compared to the AirPod Pros. This is probably due in part to sound isolation and the better active noise cancellation. Overall, you get a much more immersive music listening experience on the Sony earbud. So, bottom line is that while the sound quality on the AirPod Pros are definitely an upgrade from the original AirPods, and a step in the right direction for Apple, in terms of sound and music quality, they're still not in the professional leagues that Sony's are. If you're buying these headphones for sound quality alone, then the obvious winner goes to Sony. Good night, Apple. So, what's the verdict on the head-to-head between these Sony and Apple earbuds? While Apple is a welcome challenger to the active noise cancellation space, the bottom line is that for the overall package, when you're purchasing earbuds at this premium price point, the winner goes to Sony. There's more technology, features, and pedigree packed into the Sony Wf-1000xm3 than the world's biggest company, Apple, can offer on their first generation of noise-canceling earbuds. Don't get me wrong, the AirPod Pros are a commendable effort by the Cupertino company. They got a lot of things right on their first try at active noise cancellation, and in terms of comfort, they do probably outclass the Sony Wf-1000xm3 in all aspects. But when it comes down to music listening experience, which is why you're buying these earbuds in the first place, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, the Sonys come up on top. So what do you think? Do the AirPod Pros have any other superior qualities compared to Sony's? Leave a message below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.